Yeah, we got 8.
Wow, YouTube, you asked for bugs. We got bugs. Bugman.
Bugman here, I'm reformed now. You know, we're no longer evil. What the fuck? There's popcorn hitting from. Anyway, so you want to play TyrantKabuterimon on this format? Short answer is don't. I mean, you can, but the deck is like, it's a gatekeeper deck, you know? Like, anything below tier 1, you stomp. Anyone in tier 1, it's like you're fighting for your life. But it's fine. We'll start off with the eggs. You play, obviously, for the one that gives you end of attack. Today we went to an Evo Cup and I bubbled, whatever. That's besides the point. The point was that, honestly, I kind of maybe want a 5th egg. It would probably be the Nyaromon, just because you actually kind of go through eggs quite quickly because you're always raising out and attacking at the end of the turn. So maybe 5th egg will make its way in. For the rookies, this is a no-brainer. You play 4 Tento. It does, like, a lot just by itself. You can even use it to just kill other rookies, honestly. Like, you can just go start main phase, suspend the rookie, and then punch over. Not too bad. It just does all the things that you needed to do. It's the best. It's a target rookie in the back. And then Bandai likes this now, so we got a second good rookie that searches pieces. It's also a top 4, which is good, and has an ESS. This is the other, like, you don't have to think about it, you just play 4 of this. Shoutouts to... He also redeemed himself. I remember when Kokabu came out in the Imperial Structure deck and he was a bad card. He's functional now. So, I'm playing 2 Kudemons. This is just for some more additional consistency. It finds things that are not insectoids if you do want to tech into those. Finds Izzy's. He's also just useful because he suspends himself, so you'll see in a little bit like why that's important. But just having a rookie that suspends himself comes up. And yeah, it's just a good card. However, I'm also playing 2 of the terriermon Floodgates. Now, let's say that you don't want to play these 2, right? And you want to change your rookie ratios. You could just play these instead, and they largely do the same thing. Lopmon gets you a bit more damage. Pomomon is another useful Floodgate. The problem is that they both get shot by the same things, and your consistency is good, but the extra little bit of consistency helps a lot. I've not had too much problem killing people with this deck, so, you know, if you are having problems killing people in-game, then play the Lopmon for extra damage. Also, 1 KDP is good. That's that. Now, that's the rookies. For the level 4s, the auto include 4 copies of Blade. Also treated as Insectoid. It's a power pump. It, you know, by itself, it's like 5k. It helps you reach some of your bigger numbers against, like, awkward matchups like Greymon or whatever. It's just a good card. It does everything the deck needs it to do. This is... Spice is... you know, not a word that should be used to describe any Digimon card. This is like the people, you know, either cut this out and then add it back in, or like, you know, sometimes at first, even myself, I didn't think this card was very good, and then the more I play the format, the more I'm like, you know what? Having a level 4 that's just unaffected is really, really helpful, especially with, where is he? This guy and this guy, right? So... combos, okay? You play this, it suspends itself, and then you get a card, and then you just evo for 2, and you now have an unaffected level 4, and you're threatening the ace. Even if you don't have the ace, you just, you know, the opponent just to think that you have the ace, and then they won't swing, which is exactly what you want. You just psych your opponent out. And with Tento, you can literally clear, like, I've cleared level 5s with this combo. You just go start main phase, suspend, evo into this, end of turn attack. You now have an 8k unaffected. If they then want to swing for some reason, and you do have the ace, you get another 3k, and you steal 2 memory, and you just turn skip someone. Very good. Every time you get to ace in this deck, it feels incredible because your things are costed around the ability to attack at the end of turn. If you skip a level for free, that's broken. 4 copies of this Stingmon. Now, I forgot how good 1-cost evos were, I'm not gonna lie. When I was making drafts of this deck, I was like, you know, maybe it's not that good. But it genuinely comes up, and it gives the deck a lot of speed, because if you go second, you can just go evo for 1, evo for 3 into your level 5, and you're pretty much set up like you're threatening a Tyrant on turn 2, which is crazy, and you only get to do that if you do play this Stingmon. So it does add a lot of speed to the deck. And for other level 4s you could play this Quagamon, or you could play the promo. It's in my binder, I can't be bothered getting it out. This is another source of piercing at level 4. This deck doesn't have tons of ways to have native piercing, so it's helpful to have this, but it doesn't do anything else on board, and it does cost 2, so that's a little bit stinky. But Stingmon's good. Stingmon's good. I definitely recommend Stingmon. For the auto include, we play 4 Meta Life. This is like one of the most important cards in your deck. Redirect ESS, Power Pump, and Suspend on play when digivolving. You can also suspend 1 Digimon. It doesn't have to be yours or the opponents, you can do whatever. So even if you are bricked, pause, in, you know, round whatever, game 3, you can just play this for 7, suspend itself, and then +3. Again, if the opponent thinks you have the ace, they probably won't swing, which is what you want. You don't want the opponent to swing until you do, but just a good card. I mean, it's like the reason to play the deck, honestly. Like, this is the reason to play the deck. 4 other level 5s. Playing 3 of this Akua. Bug Icewall. It's still good, guys. Again, I forgot how good these cards were, you know? Like, it's really good into blue decks because they need to unsuspend and attack again. They don't do all their checks at once, so things like Mirage, Imperial, you're basically taxing them, and they can usually bypass your interaction. Also, it's a piercing ESS. This card just has a lot of value. Now, you could play Rhino, and Rhino by itself does basically what the Okumon and the Stingmon provide to the deck in terms of, like, this is a level 5 that goes into Tyrant for 3. Super, super useful. However, no ESS, and that's stinky. You know, you're not doing anything with the card afterwards. It just makes a Tyrant, and then you're not doing anything, and that sucks, and that's probably why a lot of people are struggling to close out games. So yeah, 3 of the Akua, and then finally 2 of the ace. A lot of people are thinking of cutting this down to 1, and that's fair. If you want to only play 1 of the ace, you can totally do that. I just like having 2 because you want to have it in your hand a lot of the times, especially off of Tyrant's effect. You can play at level 4s and always threaten the ace. Also, it's a 4-cost level 5, so if you're in a pinch and you have a boost, you can just, you know, with Izzy, let's say you'll go to 5, you can slam this, and then yes, you're passing your opponent a lot of memory, but you made a Tyrant again, and that's just important, right? Just good card. Also, it's unaffected. It's just a generally, like, really, really good card. For the 6s, the name of the deck, Tyrant. This card does a lot. It plays on a guy, it bot decks a guy, and it's 14k base, which is very, very nice. I mean, like, your whole deck revolves on this guy. If you see this guy in a good position, if you can ever get 2 of them on the board, it's crazy because you just have so much control. And yeah, it just does everything. I'll get Altars eventually. Now, for the other choices, we played 2 Granku Ace. There are times where I've played 3. This card is really broken. It's another way to sort of win board early because it's an Insectoid. It gets Sec +1, lets you push a lot of damage. Kills Tamers, which I don't know why it does that. Oh, I know, it's because it's half purple. So I guess we're allowed to kill Tamers now. And yeah, it's another good ace target. You know, it helps you, like, sort of stop a lot of opponents, like wide aggression. It's just a good card. Also, you can just slam it for 7 if you have to. And it's another way, it's another suspend. So against decks that want to, like, Venus lock you, for example, you have an on-play suspend, which is very, very important. Yes, and also it applies a shitty lock. It's not a, this Digimon can't suspend, it's the next unsuspend phase. They just forgot to make it good. Now, this is the weird one, and I'm playing 2 Bancho Leos. I'll take a little bit of time to explain this. Now, you don't have to play 2 Bancho Leos. There are other 6s you could play, like Shiva, another Granku Ace, Hercules over these 2. This is for the Armour matchup, and this is both Vaccine and Veemon Armour. The problem with these Armour decks is that you are a green deck that deletes by battle, so you're constantly having to swing into their guys, and then they just purge. However, with Bancho Leomon, you're giving them that minus 4k, so when they purge down, you actually clear the stack, which is very, very important. Also, he comes down for 7, assuming that you play the minigame of 6 combined security. So he's also an on-play suspend, and the Floodgate is all turns. It's really good into blue decks because most blue decks don't have a way to get extra security checks. So if they suspend, they just play into the Bancho Leomon, and that's great. Good into wide boards because, like, say for example, Lume, if they see the Bancho, every time they swing with like a shitty Uko, you're taxing them and you're taking their board away slowly. This card, I think, is better if you play Rhino because if you have 3 memory plus the Rhino, you can swing into Tyrant for 3, keep turn, and then you have enough memory to actually play out the Bancho, Evo the Bancho and pass 4, which is great. This card, like, honestly was MVP. It has been, like, doing so well in testing. Shoutouts to Llama. He was the one that sort of, like, came up with the idea of putting Bancho Leomon. But let's say you don't want to play this card, right? Because you wanna role play, so you could play more of these guys. Shivamon is, I think it's bait because you think, oh, I'll just turn off options, right? The only weakness to the deck. If you're playing against Armour, you'll just go Star Deck Magna, Star Strip Bounce, and then you're in the same position. It'll just heavens you. So I don't think it's that good. It can be good into decks that, you know, say for example like Beelzemon, I guess. but even then it's not great. Another Granku is fine. It makes the deck more aggressive. If you want to play like 3 Grankus, you could play Lopmons, and then you have a lot of damage. Or if you're a Giga Chad, you know, like a real Skibbity, you know, or higher Rizzler, you play 1 Hercules. There's no like reason. You just play it. It's just a cool card. Okay, it gets piercing and it passes the piercing around. Like he doesn't have to get the piercing. He gives piercing to something else. He's also unaffected. And it's a start of main phase suspend, so if he's on the board, you constantly have ways to suspend things. This would be like my preferred 6 if I wasn't playing the 2 Banchos. Yay. Very quickly, now, delay cards, 3 boosts, 3 tradings. Consistency is good. You could play more boosts, to be fair, because you actually want the memory to slam guys as opposed to like evoing for cheap. You already evo for cheap, but this finds Izzy, this doesn't. And then, speaking of Izzy, we play 3. You don't need more because you have Meta Life. Yes, you have Meta Life. So as long as you have like 1 Meta Life, 1 Izzy, that's 2 redirects. That's like super tough for a ton of decks to get through. And finally, this is my preferred tech card. So in Tyrant, there are people that play Super Shocker. You can play Giant Missile. You can play more of a different level. Or I'm playing 2 Digimon Emperor, and this is a meta call. It's a draw engine. It taxes Uko decks, which are typically very fast decks. Decks that have powerful start of main phase effects like Patamon, Dorumon, Beemon, anything that has a start of main phase. If the opponent just forgets about Digimon Emperor and they just leave a rookie in the back, you can like choke at like 1, for example, or even 2 is fine. And you just play this, and it's like you turn skip them. In multiples, it's very messed up because then any Uko deck, they just can never ever promote the Uko and they'll just get turn skipped. But if you don't want to play these, you could play, again, like I said, Super Shocker, a removal option. You could play HBD. You could play a ton of other stuff. But yeah, Digimon Emperor is okay. It has won me pretty much like every new Mega M ever. Crazy with Bancho too. Like, it's just a good card. And that's the list. Is this deck good right now? No. Does it get better? Yes. Promo Mega Kabu and Shiva Ace.
Probably July.
Probably, you know, BT17, this deck is nice. Right now, cut the video. Just end the video.